Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Sam, and in today's video I wanted to start a new series on my channel in which I try to tackle my never-ending Goodreads TBR. I know that there's a lot of people who do this video or do something similar to this video, but I mainly got the idea from Ellen Catherine, and I'll leave her linked down below. But the way that I am going to be doing this series of TBR Takedown, I feel like most people pick from their physical TBR. And although I do want to get through the books on my physical TBR, there are just so many books that I really want to read from the library, from Kindle Unlimited, as audiobooks, no matter how I can get my hands on them. I thought it would be more fun, and at least for my reading and Goodreads list, just to pick from my entire Goodreads TBR. For the way that I have my Goodreads want to read list, I mainly have either the first book in a series or whatever the next book is that I have yet to read on my list. There are some situations where I did go and add like the full series to my list. So in the event that we randomly generate a book that is in the middle of a series or not the next book that I am up to in the series, I will just take whatever the next book is that I have to read, whether it be book number 1 to start the series, or if I've already started the series, the book that I'm up to, if that makes sense. Once I pick the book, I will also double check and see if it's a book that I can feasibly read in this video, because this does have to go up in the next month or so. So in the event that it's a new book that I will be getting from the library, it might have a very long wait, so I might just put that one, at least I'll reserve it from the library so that I can read it whenever it ends up being my turn. There is one book on here that I just added that is not available very many places for me, so in those events I might have to re-roll, but we have lots of options, so we will just see what happens and see what we get. I have my Goodreads pulled up, and my Goodreads is currently 439 books. I did not realize it was that long, but I'm going to pull up a random number generator and we will generate a number. So minimum is 1 and maximum is 439. So I have this pulled up on my computer, so it's going to be a bit difficult to show you, but I will try my best. We will try to look at it together. Okay, does that work? I zoomed in a bit. So let's see. Click it a couple times. 21. Okay, so this is going to be a book that I added to my TBR a long time ago. So, oh, this is actually very exciting. So book 21 on my Goodreads list is Guild by Raven Kennedy. This is book 1 in the Plated Prisoner series. I've been wanting to read this for so long. I read the, what was that called? The Cupidity series, Signs of Cupidity, something like that, for Valentine's Day a couple years ago, and I said that after I finished that series I was going to start Guild, and I just never got around to it. So this is very exciting. I'm very excited that this one was picked. I was really nervous that this was an old ad, because some of the first books on this list are not super fun, but this I'm very excited about. And I think that the series is completed now. There's 6 books in the series. This is going to be good. And this book is on Kindle Unlimited, 402 pages. Can't wait. This is honestly one of the best ways this reading vlog could have gone. So I have that downloaded now, and I will check back in once I have started reading Guild. Hi everybody. So I have started reading Guild by Raven Kennedy. This is book 1 in the Plated Prisoner series, and I'm just about 50 pages in. So this book is a like King Midas retelling. So we're following, I believe her name is Orin, who is a fully gold human. We don't really know the backstory, but assume that she was touched by King Midas and turned gold. because everything that this king touches turns to gold. And she lives in this gold palace. Everything's gold, and she lives behind bars because she's supposed to be the king's favorite. She's the king's favored. And they call them saddles, essentially just like the king's plaything, sexual plaything. So we kind of see that Oren wants more out of her life and just wants to feel wanted by the king. The king is having a breakfast with a king from the like neighboring region, and I guess the king has been asking to have King Midas make him his own plated gold person, and wants to spend a night with Oren. And for the first time, King Midas agrees. And so Oren is supposed to go to this other king's castle, palace, to, I guess, entertain him for the night. And that's kind of where I am now, and really just sets up the story. I'm enjoying it so far. I feel like Raven Kennedy has a very specific way that she writes her female main characters, and the way that Oren is written is very similar to the way that the Cupid in the Signs of Cupidity series, I can't remember what that series is ever called, but the tone is very similar. And with the, I guess, setting and the atmosphere of King Midas's palace, it's very sexual as just being something that everybody does in the castle. I don't know if that's going to necessarily continue, but I am intrigued to see what Oren is going to do or learn, or if she's going to be able to be free, and what kind of adventures she gets up to, because this is a 6-book series. But that's really all I have for now. I'm not like leaning any which way. I'm only 50 pages in, but I am enjoying it. I am intrigued, and I'm excited to see what is going to happen next. I feel like the lighting in here is pretty rough, but I wanted to do an update on my book. I have made it to chapter 22. I'm 57% of the way through Guild, and I'm liking it a bit more. I definitely wasn't disliking it, but it hasn't really been able to hold my attention. I have been very inclined to take a break even midway through a chapter, which I don't stop midway through chapters, to pick up my phone or check something and then get distracted for like a half an hour. Although it is reading very quickly, there's a lot more happening with the rest of the world and the kingdoms and sort of the politics behind everything, which is really interesting. And we're starting to see a bit more about what is going on outside of the palace, which is also very interesting. And I think where the plot is really going to start going. What I thought was going to happen did not happen. It kind of veered in another direction, which I thought was really interesting, and I'm actually really happy about because I didn't see it coming, and I thought it was pretty fun. The main character in this book, Oren, is really giving very similar qualities to ML did in the Cupidity series that I read by Raven Kennedy. Her writing is very, understandably, very similar, and Oren is just very much this like recently sheltered girl who's not allowed to do much of anything. She's kind of just kept as a prize for the king. But she has some painful backstory and painful history that we've started to see a bit about. We've got some glimpses into her life before her and Midas kind of got together, which is very interesting. I'm really enjoying getting more of her story to learn more about her and what's going on in the world. I'm very suspicious of Midas. I don't love him. I'm really not sure where the story is going to go from here. When I am able to sit down and just read, I am flying through this. So I'm hoping to read a bit more today. I didn't get nearly as much read yesterday as I wanted to, but that's okay. I had a very busy day at work yesterday, but I'm really hoping that I can read for a bit more today so I can finish this off easily tomorrow. But that's all I have for now. I'm really glad that this book got picked and I'm finally starting this series. Hi everybody, so I just finished Guild by Raven Kennedy, and I feel like my last check-in I was kind of middle of the road. I was enjoying my time, but I wasn't super obsessed with this book in any way, but I think it just got better and better. I think this was a very good first book in the series. I will say check trigger warnings because it does deal with some darker themes and heavier themes. But I ended up actually really enjoying this book and it was a lot of fun, a very quick read, and I'm very, very intrigued to see what's going to happen next. I kind of wish that I was filming while I was reading these last couple chapters because I was like audibly gasping at some of the reveals that we got. I will say the beginning and sort of first half of this book, I don't know that it didn't hold my attention, but I was finding myself very easily distracted. And I don't know if this was the book or if this was the mood that I was in, really just not sure. And I did find sort of the middle section of this book to slow down a bit. It was a bit drawn out. But then once we got past that point, and don't get me wrong, like I still enjoyed the book at that point. I was still liking it, but it was more like a solid 3 stars. But then I feel like the plot sort of started to pick up. We got some more intrigue. We learned more about the world. And I think the world was set up very well. We got it in bits and pieces, sort of along with our female main character. And we got it in chunks. So it's a little bit more digestible. And I think in the next books and the rest of the series, we will obviously learn a lot more about the world and what is going on. There was more like political intrigue and relationships between a couple of the different kingdoms. There's also another element in this book that I wasn't really expecting that I'm really excited to see, and something that was like partially revealed that I think I know where it's gonna go. I'm just really intrigued to see what happens next. The ending was wild. Like so many reveals. Left me wondering what was gonna happen next, but also had sort of that satisfying sense of feeling like we got some answers, but also that open up more questions. I don't know. I just think that this was really well done and I had a lot of fun with it. I do think that it's sitting at probably a 3.5 star rating for me. If I was picky, maybe a 3.75, but I don't really do quarter star ratings. I find half to be enough. The second half, maybe last third of this book was definitely more of a 4-star for me, but I don't think that much of a bump up from the first half is necessarily warranted because I did feel like it was a bit slow and dragging in the beginning, but I'm so glad that this book was picked. I'm so glad that I finally started this series, that I was finally forced to start this series. And I hope that you really enjoyed this video. This was a lot of fun for me to do and sort of a different way to tackle my TBR because as much as I love mood reading to an extent and picking up books that I am excited about, I think it's also important that I am kind of forced to pick up books that I not necessarily forgot about, but books that kind of were put on the back burner. Things came out since I put them on because I think that there's definitely some gems and some great books that could be found there because obviously I put them on my TBR for a reason. I was intrigued about them enough at the time. This was just a very fun reading vlog for me and a little bit more low-key in that obviously I only read the one book, so hopefully this video is like a decent enough length. Yeah, just a nice low-key reading vlog, just a bit of fun and just a nice extra option to throw into the mix. Like I said, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up so that I know. Let me know what you thought down below. If you have read this book, I would love to chat with you. I really hope that you enjoy the rest of your week and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.